welcome. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Dave Burley. I'm the BLM Instant Business Lead here at the Interagency Fire Center. I represent BLM on will remain as an ADS. Prior, what was reclassified as an ADP, as you can see on the screen. We also added a THSP as a cash liaison. That's been a position that's been tested the last couple of years, and it became apparent that it was a good position, so we went ahead and classified it to have a solid position.
Okay.
The other positions we had to have reclassified due to some position requirement changes that were happened in the 310-1. The previous positions, the Faller A, B, and C, were reclassified. Faller A was reclassified and renamed as Faller 3, which is the basic Faller, and that didn't change. Faller B was reclassified to a Faller 2, and which is an intermediate Faller, and it was classified as an ADE. Faller C was reclassified and renamed as a Faller 1, and it classified to an ADJ.
Dave, can you hear me? This is Josh McDaniel.
Yes.
Could you move a little closer to the mic? There are a lot of people who are having trouble hearing you.
Okay. I got a headset, so I'll turn it up. How's that? See if that works. Is that any better right there?
Slightly.
Okay. Shoot, I apologize. Everything worked so well in practice a couple of days ago, so I'm kind of bummed here. All right. So that's the main change to the ADP plan. Pretty minor. There's no language changes. So it's just mainly a couple positions and the pay raise.
Often again.
Yeah, keep. Martin, can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, how's this?
Way better.
Is that better?
Way better.
Okay, I'll just take my headset off. I was talking on my phone. How's that?
Much better.
Okay, well, good. All right.
I think you should repeat it because I think most people couldn't hear much at all.
position, so that's going to go forward as an actual classified position for the ADs. There was some changes in 310-1 this year to kind of changes the requirements for our tree faller positions. We reclassified, as you can see on the screen.
Dave, if you can hear me, this is Josh McGann. You're sort of dropping in and out, mostly out. Is there are you changing anything with your setup?
No, I honestly think my phone might have issues, to be honest with you.
I can hear him real well here, Josh.
There's a lot. It seems to be dropping in and out, and a lot of people are writing in saying they're getting the same thing.
Okay. Darn it.
You're coming in good for us on the ships.
Any suggestions, Josh?
So you dialed in? Are you using a USB headset, or did you dial in?
No, I dialed in because the USB didn't seem to be working right. We couldn't get anything on that, it seemed like.
What happened was there was a lot of echo when he was first on the USB on the audio part of the GoToWebinar.
It was actually crystal clear when he was on at the beginning, and then it changed for me. But
I can always go back to that if it's clearer for more people if I do it that way.
Yeah, try that. Give it a go. Sorry for
Hold on 1 second.
Okay, back to the USB.
see, for me, there's no echo, and that's perfectly clear and a lot louder.
Sounds good at McClellan. Sounds great.
Okay, we'll just go this way then. I apologize for the issues here.
That's okay. It happens.
So I'll start off where I left off with the fallers. The fallers is really one of the bigger changes as well. Tried to rename the names to more fit what they were as far as the basic, intermediate, and advanced faller. The intermediate and the advanced faller, their classifications changed. I apologize, I don't have what they were, but the intermediate, the faller B, now faller 2, is now going to be an ADE, which I think is a pay increase, and the faller 1, which used to be faller FLAC, advanced, is an ADJ, which I also think is a little bit of an increase from what it was. So that's that's a changes to be aware of going into the new fire season. Some forms that we're working on. The first form is just about done. It's actually we sent it back. It's in the hands of GSA to finalize and approve to be issued, and that's the OF 288. It got switched from portrait to landscape form. The main reason we started changing it is because we were trying to get away from the Social Security block for personal, PII stuff. We wanted to get away from people thinking they had to put their Social Security number on the OF 288. So we took that off of there and added a block for the ECI, the Employee Common Identifier. We renamed it to the Incident Time Report. Then other just minor cosmetic changes to try and make it more clearer to people when they're looking at it. The goal is to have it ready. We don't think it's going to be issued and ready to go for this fire season, but what our goal is to have it ready and be able to, it'll be issued coincide with the new version of the interagency, the handbook, the yellow book, when it gets released in 2016. The form that did get changed and is out there on the our NWCG website and the Casual Pay Center website is the new single resource casual hire form. That one also we had to redo it to get the Social Security number off and include an ECI number instead. We did some modifications to the travel part of it, trying to make it clearer for the subsistence, and also added a location to do it so that the local office can do an estimate of what they think the travel will cost for that casual when they go to an assignment. It's also now a fillable form, so when you open it up off of the web, you can actually fill it out, or the folks, the local office can fill it out and print it off, and so it should be a lot more usable for folks. The Department of Interior is trying to go down a similar path of the Forest Service. The DOI business leads wrote a business case to support reimbursement of casual travel, simple travel off the OF 288. If those folks have been around, especially in the casual world, since about 2008 or 2009, the Forest Service has been reimbursing their casuals off the OF 288, so rather than doing travel authorizations and travel vouchers. DOI is trying to follow that path, so we're in the process of getting that approved. Currently, our business plan is back in our DC office getting the final signatures. At that point, the DOI travel lead will be sending a waiver request to GSA so that to get a waiver from using the electronic travel system that we all love and just enjoy using, those of us who are government employees. I'm trying to be sarcastic. Anyway, it probably didn't come across that way, but that's okay. We'd hoped that this would be in place by this fire season, but some things got held up when we started doing some of the signatures, so it'll probably be in place mid-summer. Maybe we might start being able to pay some of our casuals in the Department of Interior through the OF 288. If that happens, we'll do our best to get some good guidance out to everybody so it's not a surprise. But anyway, that's some of the stuff that's coming as well for our casuals in the Department of Interior. Any questions on casuals before I leave that topic?
What we could have them all do is provide all the questions at the end too, if you want, Dave.
That's fine. That's easier probably doing this. That's fine. I just wanted to kind of give a break there for a second.
Thank you.
There's one question.
Okay.
It's from Ray Kingston. He says, in the 310 there is a new LSC Type 3. Is that reflected in the new AD rates?
I do not think we added that one this year. Honestly, I'll have to look at it to see for sure, because I don't remember addressing that one from a new perspective, and it may have already been there. I can't remember. I'll check on it and see if I can let you guys know.
Thank you, Dave.
Mm-hmm. Nothing else. Go on to the Interagency Business Management Handbook, the Yellow Book. Been working for the last year or so. A group has been working on changes for the 2016 release. Went out for it's been comments. Subject matter experts just got through reviewing it. Those comments were addressed last week. It's going out, I think, this week or next week, out to all of the bureaus, all the all people to review it for one last time for content, and then the goal is to release it by March of 2016. To be honest, there's no major changes. It's mostly word editing or massaging just to kind of make it look a little bit better, or word something a little bit different so it's a little bit clearer or supposedly clearer for people. The only thing that might be of a change is if they're working on a revision for the supplemental food policy. They're reviewing that policy, and if it can be revised to focus more on line personnel and their nutrition needs, so there might be a change, minor change in something like that, but for the most part, there's no major changes to the Yellow Book, so it's not, like I said, there'll be minor things changed, but nothing of significance that I could point to highlight for everybody. a lot of you may or may not have heard the EI Suite is coming out. There were 6 train-the-trainer classes held this year so far. Approximately 125 attended. Out of these train-the-trainers, they're already started planning and putting on training within their local areas. Things seem to be going good. I think there's been some real good feedback on what EI Suite is going to be doing for us and how well it's going to work. EI Suite will be released for use on April 27th of this year. The old iSuite will be decommissioned in December of the end of this calendar year. Currently, I'm going to get ahead of myself. I'm going to cover something on the next slide, so I apologize. For this summer, the local office who is hosting a fire, they will be able to choose whether both EI Suite and the old iSuite are both be available for use this summer. So when you go out to incidents this summer, we may encounter both, either or version. I'm hoping EI Suite will be more and more used as time goes on, but just to be aware that you could encounter both the old version and the new EI Suite version this summer. One thing, if your supply folks were used to using the module out of the iSuite, the supply module, that is not yet available in EI Suite. So honestly, I apologize. I don't know exactly what ramifications that might be if you're out there and have EI Suite is what you're given, but I want to give you a heads up on that one. Again, like I said, geographical areas may use either EI Suite or iSuite during this year as a transition year. If you're interested in checking out what EI Suite looks like, you can go to their webpage, what I've got on the screen right there, and check it out and kind of get a feel for it. But there's also probably going to be opportunities for classrooms to take a look at some of that stuff before the fire season starts. So trying to put together this presentation, we had a few questions that actually, from what I understand, were brought up by your group, so we were going to try and at least address some of them. One topic was the national vehicle rental cars. There was a rental car task group put together that's been working. It was chartered by NWCG, and they were trying to come up with some helps, not necessarily solutions, but some helps to help people understand what the best options, what options were out there, what might work, what works well for other folks. They're creating a document that lists potential options. It's going to be published. It'll be published out on the NWCG website by June. So that'll be a good reference point from what I heard. I haven't seen the draft yet, but from what I've heard, it's pretty comprehensive of giving the different options and where people can go to find solutions for rental car issues. The next question was how to avoid repairs or fees at the end of the rental period. This is an interesting answer when I ask folks to help me answer this one. The defense travel management contract, which is a lot of times how we rent cars when we go out as a federal employee on our credit cards. We get it through that defense management contract. It comes with insurance, but it doesn't cover cleaning fees. So if something's happened, if there's a damage to a vehicle under that, that should be covered. But if you have a vehicle that you've rented that way and took out and been out by the fire close and it smells really smoky, that doesn't exclude them from charging you to clean it to try and get rid of all that smoke smell. So some of the stuff so that's an issue that don't have a good answer. You could have to deal with that on your credit cards. Vehicles obtained using GSA's RSVP program do not come with the same type of insurance, and the person negotiating that contract will have to negotiate the repairs. So that probably will be at a local office level as opposed to at the fire IMT level, but it's still that GSA's RSVP program, chances are that contract will have to pay for any repairs that might come up. Another question. Actually, I only have these last two. Hopefully, I've covered enough when I get through with this, and then we can open up to questions. Finance and logistics interaction. And what I got back when I asked this question to our instant business folks is there's no good one answer, except for communication is key. What I get is don't assume something is known. I guess just kind of continually have that interaction with the finance folks, and I don't think there's a key. It's just a matter if you can get some good communication and get some good trust. I think things will work out. Doesn't mean something might not happen, but I guess I'm not positive where this is where the source of that question was. But this is the answer that we kind of came up with. The next question, whether the answer is in the context that this is trying to address, but this is what came to mind when we're trying to answer this question. How to work better, smarter with IBAs. The assumption was made that was in regards to when out of the ordinary things were going to be ordered. And so the answer, or what we came up with on this one, is be specific in what your needs are when ordering something out of the ordinary. Include the justifications for ordering it. If you know something is in the works, give the IBA a heads up. So if something's kind of hearing rumors of something out of the ordinary that might, they're wanting to try and get, start some dialogue early so it's not a surprise, and that way there can be some good communication. So if it actually gets an order actually comes through, that won't, it might go smoother and quicker from that perspective. Again, I hope we kind of got the gist of where these questions are coming from. If we didn't, I apologize. Maybe somebody can contact me and we can try again if we didn't quite get at what was where the source of these were. And that's really it. That's kind of the summation of what we've come up with. Any questions out there that I might try and address?
While other people are coming up with questions, can I throw in a couple of comments from here, Martin Miracle?
Sure.
Okay, first of all, appreciate you doing the presentation. And, on the communication, especially with the IBAs, I think the important thing is, as you stated in your slide, is make sure that the people provide as much information as possible, including if it was something unique, what they thought was a source to go get it and buy it, and also the contact information if the buying team has to get back to the one making the request. Well, do you think this will work, and that type of thing. So there's some good dialogue before they go out and buy the wrong thing because it wasn't well specified. The other thing I wanted to bring up is if you could, I'll make sure that on the last slide that you've got here is, maybe you could edit that and send me your presentation and include your email contact in case people have additional questions later. That would be handy.
Yeah, I can do that.
Thank you, Dave. And let's see if hands are starting to go up. Or you seen any written ones yet?
Yeah, a couple. First one's from Bob Harrell, and he asks, when my travel went in on timesheet, I never got paid until two months later.
As Forest Service, I'm assuming? I have to assume it must be Forest Service, since DOI is not doing it yet. I know that there have been some issues with things slowing down there. I don't have a good answer of what caused it. It might be something to, like I said, I'll provide my email address, and if I can get specifics, I can kind of maybe see if I can figure out what happened. I'm guessing there was a mistake by whoever submitted it, and it got took a while for them to reconcile, is what I'm guessing. But I can try and check into it if you'd like me to, once I give you my email address.
Okay. And then the next one's from Rick Martin. He says, who were the SMEs that reviewed the supplemental food policy, and is there a draft that all logistics folks can review and comment on?
I'll have to check into that one. Jamie Parker from the Forest Service is the one that gave me that comment that they're talking about working on that. So I'll have to find out who the subject matter experts working on it are. So I apologize for that one. I don't have a lot of good information other than the fact that they're looking at that. So I can pass that on. I can find out and pass that on.
Okay, that's all I got here.
Let me, Martin here, I wanted to tag on to your comment about the rental cars too, if I may.
Okay.
You did a good job presenting the federal side of the house, but just throw out a couple comments regarding the state cooperators. A lot of times state personnel are being mobilized, and number one, the most important thing of all for everybody is to make sure that if you're going to pick up the rental car, it's authorized and it's on your resource order, so that way if you're picking that up on your your government credit card or your state credit card and whatnot, you have the documentation that will be reimbursable. Number two is the states also have a state contracting entity that we often have to go through, which is the WSCA contracts, the Western State Contracting Association, I believe it's called, WSCA. So we actually, when we are mobilizing and have authorization to get a rental car and we're going to use a state contract to pick up rental cars, it's important that we actually provide numbers that need to go on the documentation when we pick that up, and what is the contract number and what is the discount contract or the discount code. There's actually codes, and in Alaska we developed cheat sheets for all of our personnel going out, so if they are supposed to rent a car, there's only 3 entities that we can go to, which is Hertz, National, and the other one tied in with National. I forget, sorry, it slips my mind. But anyway, just because you go rent one of those cars doesn't mean you're going to get the discount. You actually have to give them those numbers. And I just thought I'd throw that out from the state perspective. And secondly, important consideration is the WSCA contracts do not allow for off-road use of the vehicles. So when we had a whole lot of our people go down to Washington last year, we had somebody helping us as a liaison and tying into the regional contracts in Region 6, and there's a separate contract in Washington versus the contract in Oregon, and we went through our federal cooperators to make sure we picked up vehicles on those contracts because they did cover off-road use for enterprise vehicles and so forth.
I think that's good points. I'm hoping that the document that gets posted this in June will have some of those specific regional things on it, so people can be aware of what things to look at and look for.
Thank you, Dave.
Anything else out there?
We're still looking.
Yep, we just got a question come in. This is from Rick Martin again. If there is no AD rate for the Type 3 Logistics Section Chief, and if an AD is requested to go on as an AD3 Logs Chief and is qualified, how are they going to get paid this year if it's not in the plan? I know you didn't know if it was covered, but a very important question.
Yes, they would get paid. What would have to happen, it would have to be an exception position, which is totally fine. I was going to give me 1 second. I'll put it over on my other screen if it'll come up. I'll open my draft of my pay plan and I'll check it out real quick while we're waiting for any more questions.
So while you're trying to scramble and find that regarding the Type 3 logistics chief, you know, in the past it hasn't really been a mnemonic for that, nor has it been really in Ross. So in that case, would you think that if they were being mobilized as a Type 3 logistics chief, and might they just pick the, okay, we're going to put you in there as a supply unit leader, but you're going to be working as a Type 3 logistics chief, and then they would get the unit leader pay?
You know, that, I mean, I guess that could be the case. It's not the best way to go. If it's going to happen, I would rather see it happen as a exception position and have them determine where it fits, you know, underneath logistics, you know, chief 2, you know, where it would fit pay-wise.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's what I would prefer to see that happen as an exception position. I'm going to have to look, and if I can look back at some of our notes, because we have there's the same similar issue, because there's I think now a finance section chief 3 as well, and there had to be a specific reason why we didn't go that one step further this year. If I can find the reasoning we didn't go there, I'll send it out to folks. I have a feeling we're just trying to make sure things are sorted out before we set that kind of stuff. Because this is so new, I think we're trying to see where it's going. But I'll see if I can find an answer to you, because I apologize. I should have a better answer, and I just don't.
Okay. Another question.
And if you wish me to help you distribute that, send it to me and I'll get it out.
Okay.
Go ahead, Josh.
Are the new AEMF medical positions in the pay plans where the EMTs previously?
Sorry, can you ask that one more time? I'm not sure I caught it.
Are the new AEMF medical positions in the pay plans, and were the EMTs previously in the pay plans?
We did some EMT stuff last year for the 2014. They did not change this year, so that particular position, like I said, I think, if I remember right, we did some reclassified some last year because of was it line qualifications on some of them, and so so nothing's changed from 2014. I'll put it that way. So nothing's changed from 2014 as far as the EMTs and the emergency medical stuff. We made a change last year, and so that's all that's happened. So no updates on the 2015 pay plan for that position.
And next question, I'm going to go ahead and unmute Rick Martin. He has his hand up. Rick Martin, go ahead. Did you have an additional question?
No, I hit it by accident, Martin.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, yeah, another one came in from Ray Kingston. We're told in our GAC that when we are traveling as a single resource, or AD, and authorized to rent a vehicle on the resource order, that only compacts are approved. Is that pretty standard?
Yes, unless you're authorized something like more than a compact. That's the default even for federal employees. We have to get authorization for something other than a compact car. So if you need something else, you're going to have to negotiate with your hiring agency.
That'd probably be one you'd want to, even if you get to the scene, is to clarify that you're in a position needing an off-road vehicle or whatnot versus a compact, I bet.
Yes, very good point. Anything else out there? Right now I have two main things I'm going to check on. One, who is who's working on the supplemental food policy, and are the logistics folks going to get a chance to look at it? And also I'm going to check into what our rationale was from an IBC perspective of addressing type 3 chief positions in the AD pay plan, and get that out to folks mainly for the logistics chief 3, but you know it's a little bit broader than just that position. Those are only two things I think I was going to follow up on. Did I miss one?
Let me suggest another one that I can might get some information to you when I have the ability to retrieve that and get it to you, Dave, was the question that came up about the medical, the EMTs and so forth.
Okay.
Jan Peterson did a presentation a couple days ago regarding where they're going with the medical program, and if there's anything there, I can send you that. I can forward her presentation to you, and you might want to look that over in case there was something that sort of slipped through the cracks regarding here are the different proposals, and does that change anything at all in the AD pay plan maybe?
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll be willing to look at it.
Thanks.
Oh, you have some questions come in, sorry. Any projection date to add to the supply module into IE Suite?
You know, I kind of asked that question, and they don't have a date yet. All they could tell me was it's not there yet, but they're working on it. So I'm sorry I don't have the answer, but I did ask, and they didn't have a good answer yet.
Okay, and the next one's from Richard Barrett. It's better to have on the resource order so the compact doesn't sit around without being used.
Oh, in other words, have the need for a different car on the resource order? Is that what, is he saying that, or he's kind of asking that, or saying that?
Not sure, Richard. Maybe.
I think what I interpret that to be is it's better to have a vehicle on the resource order authorized, even if it's the wrong kind of vehicle, and you can straighten that out maybe when you get closer to the dispatch point.
Okay.
And then the next one's from Ben Cheney. How many barcode systems are available for use now through the cache systems?
Oh wow. You know, I don't know the answer to that question.
Marcus Medina is raising his hand here in the room, and he says there's 8. And
okay. Thank you.
Did you have anything you want to add to that? Just a moment. He's going to add a little bit. He's walking over to the microphone.
Okay.
And to the best of my knowledge, I believe we still have 8, and they're just kind of dispersed throughout the national CAS system, and we can move them wherever the action's at. So.
Thank you.
There's a clarification from Richard Barrett. He says dispatch can order, for instance, an SUV if it is on the resource order as approved. Much better than signing out a vehicle at ground support, thus having 2 vehicles assigned to 1 resource.
Okay. So in other words, try and get the approval right up front to have what you need in the field, as opposed to showing up and ask for another vehicle there at the incident. Okay.
Why don't we just give it a couple more minutes, and then if it turns out we come to the point where there's no additional questions and people have some later, they can even email to me, and I could forward them on to you, Dave.
Okay. All right, that works. And I'll also, once we get done, I'll modify the slideshow with my name and email address, and I'll send that to you also so you can have that.
Okay, thank you. Well, Dave, I wanted to thank you for coming today, and there was a lot of good information out there on the horizon, so we appreciate your willingness to stand before the group and answer questions. And because the incident business management covers quite a range of topics, there's certainly going to be some of those that you might not have your finger on the pulse immediately, but appreciate the fact that you'll get back to us later too.
You're welcome. I appreciate the opportunity.
So if there's nothing else, do you see any last minute ones there coming in, Josh?
No, nothing yet.
Okay. Why don't I go ahead and dismiss you then. Thank you so much again. And what we'll do is, if you could pass the